Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're diving into the trenches of some of the most insane, most brutal, most absolutely bonkers battles ever fought by the US military. I'm talking edge of your seat, can't believe this actually happened kind of stuff. We're talking about those pivotal moments in history where the fate of nations hung by a thread, where ordinary men and women were thrust into extraordinary circumstances, where courage was tested and legends were forged. These are the battles that defined history, man, showcasing the raw grit, the incredible strategy, and the sheer will to survive that makes the US military what it is. Get ready to have your minds blown, folks, because we're about to uncover the stories of valor, sacrifice, and straight-up insanity that unfolded on the battlefields. Let's do this. We're kicking things off with the Battle of Midway, man. Picture this. June 1942, the Pacific theater of World War II. Japan, fresh off their attack on Pearl Harbor, is riding high, feeling themselves. They're looking to crush the US Navy, cripple our fleet, and cement their dominance in the Pacific. But they didn't account for one thing: Admiral Chester Nimitz. This guy, he's a straight-up poker player, a strategic mastermind. He knows the Japanese are coming, and he's ready to lay a trap. See, the Japanese, they had this whole elaborate plan to lure the US fleet into a fight they couldn't win. But Nimitz, he's one step ahead. He's got code breakers working around the clock, intercepting Japanese transmissions, figuring out their every move. And man, the stakes couldn't be higher. This wasn't just about a few islands, this was about control of the Pacific. Lose Midway, and the US is on the ropes. But win, and you turn the tide of the entire war. So the Japanese, they come steaming in with their battleships and their aircraft carriers, thinking they've got the element of surprise. But the Americans, they're waiting. And then all hell breaks loose. Dive bombers screaming down from the sky, torpedo planes weaving through enemy fire, explosions rocking the ocean. It was a brutal, chaotic ballet of destruction, and when the smoke cleared, the impossible had happened. The US Navy, against all odds, had sunk 4 Japanese aircraft carriers. It was a devastating blow, a knockout punch from which the Japanese Navy would never fully recover. Midway, man, it wasn't just a battle, it was a turning point. It showed the world that Japan wasn't invincible, that the US Navy was a force to be reckoned with. It was a victory forged in courage, ingenuity, and a whole lot of guts. Next up, we're transporting ourselves to the blood-soaked fields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's July 1863. The Civil War is raging, and America is tearing itself apart. Gettysburg, man, it wasn't supposed to be this epic showdown. It started as a chance encounter, a skirmish between Confederate soldiers looking for shoes and Union cavalry. But things escalated quickly, and soon you had over 160,000 men locked in a desperate struggle for survival. Imagine, just picture this: rolling hills and fields transformed into a landscape of carnage, cannons roaring, muskets blazing, the air thick with smoke and the screams of the wounded. Brother fighting brother, friend against friend, all for a cause they believed in. And right in the middle of this maelstrom, you've got Joshua Chamberlain and the 20th Maine. These guys were running low on ammo, exhausted, outnumbered, but they held their ground on Little Round Top. They held that line against wave after wave of Confederate attacks, a pivotal moment that helped turn the tide of the battle. And then there's Pickett's charge, man. This suicidal assault. Thousands of Confederate soldiers marching across an open field, directly into a storm of Union fire. It was a massacre, a testament to the horrors of war and the unwavering courage of those who fought. By the time the smoke cleared at Gettysburg, over 50,000 men lay dead or wounded. It was a turning point in the Civil War, the beginning of the end for the Confederacy. Gettysburg, man, it's a stark reminder of the cost of division, the enduring legacy of slavery, and the sacrifices made to preserve the Union. Chapter 3. The Bulge, holding the line against the Nazi war machine. Hold on tight, because we're about to dive headfirst into the frozen hellscape of the Battle of the Bulge. It's December 1944, the Allies are pushing towards Germany, and everyone thinks the war's almost over. But Hitler, man, he's got one last trick up his sleeve. A desperate, all-out offensive aimed at splitting the Allied lines and driving them back to the sea. The Germans, fueled by desperation and a last-ditch hope, unleash a surprise attack through the Ardennes forest. They catch the Allies off guard, pushing back their lines, creating this massive bulge in the front, hence the name, the Battle of the Bulge. Imagine, man, being an American soldier stationed in the Ardennes. It's freezing cold, snowing like crazy, and suddenly all hell breaks loose. German tanks are rumbling through the forest, their infantry is swarming your positions, and you're outnumbered, outgunned, and fighting for your life. But the American spirit, man, it's unbreakable. Despite being caught off guard, despite the freezing conditions, despite facing overwhelming odds, the Allies held their ground. Guys like the 101st Airborne at Bastogne, they were surrounded, low on supplies, bombarded day and night, but they refused to surrender. The Battle of the Bulge was a brutal, bloody affair, a testament to the tenacity and fighting spirit of the American soldier. It was a battle that tested the limits of human endurance, a battle that ultimately broke the back of the German army in the West. Chapter 4, Iwo Jima, Raising the Flag on Mount Suribachi. Get ready for this, folks, because we're heading to the black sands and volcanic hellscape of Iwo Jima. It's February 1945. The Pacific War is reaching its climax, and this tiny island becomes the stage for one of the most iconic battles in US military history. Iwo Jima, man, it was a volcanic fortress. The Japanese, they knew an invasion was coming, so they dug in deep, creating this intricate network of tunnels, bunkers, and artillery positions. They were determined to make the Americans pay for every inch of that island, and pay they did. The initial landings, man, they were absolute chaos. Marines hitting the beach under a hailstorm of machine gun fire, artillery shells raining down, the air thick with smoke and the stench of death. It was a scene straight out of hell, but inch by inch the Marines fought their way inland, battling not just the enemy but also the unforgiving terrain. And then came the fight for Mount Suribachi, this extinct volcano that dominated the island. For days, the Marines battled their way up the slopes, facing fierce resistance every step of the way. And then, on February 23, 1945, a group of Marines reached the summit and raised the American flag. That image, man, that single image of those 6 Marines raising the flag on Mount Suribachi, it became a symbol of American determination, a beacon of hope in the midst of unimaginable brutality. Iwo Jima was a victory, but it was a costly one, with over 26,000 American casualties. It's a stark reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of freedom, the horrors of war, and the indomitable spirit of those who fought. Chapter 5, Fallujah, Urban Warfare in the 21st Century. We're fast-forwarding to the 21st century now, folks, to the dust-choked streets of Fallujah, Iraq. It's 2004, the Iraq War is raging, and Fallujah has become a stronghold for insurgents, a hotbed of violence and chaos. This wasn't your grandfather's war, man. This was urban combat at its most brutal, a labyrinthine battleground where every street corner could hide an enemy, every building could become a death trap. The US Marines, they were tasked with retaking the city, rooting out the insurgents, and restoring some semblance of order. But this wasn't a conventional enemy. They were fighting an enemy that blended in with the civilian population, an enemy that used guerrilla tactics, IEDs, and suicide bombers. Imagine, man, you're a Marine patrolling the streets of Fallujah. The heat is oppressive, the air thick with tension. You don't know who to trust. Every doorway could be hiding an enemy, and every step could be your last. The Battle of Fallujah was a brutal house-to-house, street-to-street fight. Marines engaging in fierce firefights, clearing buildings room by room, facing ambushes and booby traps at every turn. It was a battle that tested the limits of their training, their endurance, their courage. They fought with valor, with determination, with a deep sense of duty to their fellow Marines and their mission. Fallujah, man, it's a stark reminder of the complexities of modern warfare, the challenges of urban combat, and the sacrifices made by those who serve. Thanks for watching, everybody. We just scratched the surface of some of the most insane battles in US military history. We talked about Midway, Gettysburg, the Bulge, Iwo Jima, Fallujah, battles that tested the limits of human courage, sacrifice, and ingenuity. But let's be real, man, no YouTube video can truly capture the intensity, the brutality, the sheer chaos of these battles. The stories we've shared, they're just a glimpse into the experiences of the countless men and women who fought and died for our freedom. So next time you see a veteran, man, take a moment to thank them for their service. Remember the sacrifices they made, the courage they displayed, the history they helped shape. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible military history content. See you next time.